Well, good morning, my KUMV listeners. I hope you're off to an amazing Saturday. Listen, I'm not going to let you guys get away from that goal this year. We're going to, pound you guys about this 2025 goal of purchasing either a larger home this year or scaling down, or maybe talking to your kids, loved ones, friends, family about their goal of purchasing a home for the first time. So without further ado, this program today is going to be called You Have Zero Excuses This Year. 2025, right? No excuses why you cannot buy a home. I've got none other than my partner, Miss Becky, in the house with us. You know, she's one of the team members as well. Say hi, Beck.
Good morning, Mo.
You guys have heard her before. And I've got my lender, another team lender named Frank. Frank, hi, how are you? Thanks for coming on.
Good morning, Moan.
Moan, you call me Moan?
That's right.
All right, I guess I'll roll with that today. No, but you guys are going to hear us have just a frank conversation. We're going to have a little fun with it, right? Absolutely. We're going to do our best, me and Becky, to think of questions that maybe you, our listeners, are, thinking about as Frank kind of goes over some of these programs he has, right? So we have some new programs that have rolled out, all right? That's why I'm calling the show You Have No Excuse. No excuse. If you want to scale up your home this year, me and my team are negotiating sellers to pay portions of your cost. All year long, I've been getting anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 on average from the sellers that go towards your costs. So we're going to talk about the first one we want to talk about today, which I'm excited about. Right, Becky?
Yes, ma'am.
A down payment assistance program. You guys know that's like one of my specialties, getting folks into homes with zero down. Frank has a down payment assistance program. And the first thing that I want to point out about this program, you guys, 580 credit score. A lot of us, have had some issues over this year. It's been rough for a lot of people. They had to lean on their credit cards maybe, right? And that drops your score some. So obviously that's the lowest it will go is 580. But I don't know of another down payment assistant program where it will pay your entire down payment and you don't have to have at least a 640 credit score. So I said, Frank, come on, let's talk about this down payment assistance program. So what other things do you want to talk about and kind of just point out about this program, Frank? You're telling me that my listener right now, if they are at a 590, 600 credit score, or even a 580, you're telling me you can get their down payment paid on their home?
That's right. We actually have a program that allows a 580 credit score, and it will help you with the down payment or the whole down payment. It will help with your closing costs as well. We have programs under that down payment assistance that will actually give you a grant for the down payment.
Wait a minute. Okay, so what you're saying is, because we already have one that we've been using for a long time, but it's not a grant.
That's right.
I remember when I started in the business about a decade ago, it was a grant. Therefore, we mean they gave my clients the money for their down payment, and then Becky, it would go away.
Yes.
You didn't owe any money.
After a certain amount of time,
After
right?
3 years, remember we were talking about this?
Correct.
After 3 years, you didn't owe anything. Now, if you refinanced or sold the home, sure, it was prorated, you paid it back. But after 3 years, you didn't pay anything back if you sold or refinanced the home. Now, that same program, which is the most popular here in the state,
Correct,
has went to no longer a grant at all. You'll always owe it if you sell. This is a grant, you guys, where they're going to pay your entire down payment and you can go ahead and refinance or sell and you will not owe the money back. Is that right, Frank?
That's right. The grant actually is forgiven after 6 months.
Because we're more than likely, you guys, going to be having these rates drop soon. So
That's
now they don't have to worry about, having to pay back any of the down payment assistance money.
They can get in now and then refinance.
Correct. With
quicker.
the other program,
you're not stuck sticking to that for too long.
Right.
Not even a year.
Yeah.
Because with the other program, if you refinance, the one that you were talking about, with that program, if you refinance, you have to pay back the gift.
Right.
But with my program
don't.
we're talking about, you don't pay it back.
So guys, just so you understand, you can have as low as a 580 credit score. There are no income limits. I mean, no income limits, because I know that the other program as well, you had income limits. You could only make as a household in many cases, maybe like $120,000. Whereas this one, I hope you guys are getting this. No income limit. You know what I mean?
And the thing about this is if you own another home and let's say you want to move up, so you want to rent that home out.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I had a couple that was in another state. They had a home. They moved here to work. Her job transferred her. And that home is a rental back east, and they wanted to buy a new home using this program. They were able to because they had that other home, and this program is good with that.
So basically they rented out so you have to rent out the property that you're living in now, right?
Sometimes if you qualify with both house payments, you don't have to rent it out. But if you don't, then you have to show the rental income, the lease agreement on the other home.
Right. Because I have a lot of my past clients that want to scale up. They want to get a bigger home. Right. And they were under the impression, I think a lot of people out there are, they thought they had to put 20% down for the next house because they already own. That's not true. And on this show, we are all about breaking up those myths and giving people opportunities ways to get things done. So you do not have to do that. So they just have to rent out if they can't afford both payments. They just simply provide a lease. Correct. And then that frees them up for that first house. They can still continue to make equity on it. They can have the renters pay it off.
So it's not strictly for first-time home buyers.
Correct. But you do have to live in the home.
In the new home.
The new home that you're purchasing. You must live in that one for at least a year.
Right.
And then we can do this all over again.
Exactly. There you go.
And keep building the portfolio.
That's right.
I love how Monique thinks.
Yeah. Listen, none of us are getting any younger.
No.
I don't know about you guys.
Plan for that future.
Right? So we want to get
future.
And I tell people that. People are like, Monique, why do you tell your clients not to sell their properties? Instead, I always advise them to rent it out. They say, you're a realtor. You make money on selling. I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, I want to do what I think is best for them. And if I wouldn't sell, I don't know. I don't want to tell my clients to sell. Because to me, I'm not getting any younger. I want to be able to be in a position where, as a grandparent, I can spoil my grandkids, right? Leave them each a property, right?
Right.
And travel the world with my family because I've got this extra income coming in from each property that I did not sell.
That's the dream.
My number is 702-984-3700. No, but seriously, this is Monique Buchanan. I've got none other than Miss Becky and Mr. Frank on with me. Becky is one of my team members. She is with the Welcome Home group. And Frank is one of my lenders. And he's going over these new programs that have rolled out for 2025. Our goal, would you guys agree? Our goal is to get as many people into homes as we can this year.
That's absolutely right.
And I tell people all the time, do not sit on your hands and wait for the rates to drop because you will be in a fight like 2021 and 2019. You will be in a fight and you'll have to choose whatever's left over instead of having your own choice of homes.
It's going to get harder and harder.
It is.
And it's so sad that so many people are just sitting here waiting. And they think they're doing the right thing, but they don't realize they're shooting themselves in the foot.
And some of them just don't realize that they can.
That's true too.
Some people don't realize. They think that they think their situation is worse than it really is.
And since you brought that up, let's talk about bank statements because me and you used to be in the casino business, in the casino making tips, and now we're 1099s. So there's Uber drivers that are 1099s. Not to be funny, exotic dancers are 1099. So I'm talking to you too, honey. Listen, you can buy a home. There are programs, bank statement. I told my best friend, she made almost $2,500 a week in tips. And she said, Monique, I can't buy a house, because on paper, I don't make that much. We're having a frank conversation here, Frank.
I love it.
Right. Well, there's been other lenders, but other lenders have told, right? But other lenders have told them no.
And other lenders, you know what? That's a great point. You have to have the lenders that have the knowledge.
Yes.
And that's what, and once again, if you have been told no, do not give up, okay? It's almost like when you have a job that's really strict with you and then you get a job that's really kind of lackadaisy. Same thing. You have some lenders that have, especially banks, extremely strict guidelines. Am I right, Frank?
Correct.
And then you have brokers, right?
Right.
That have multiple avenues that they can take, not just one. So don't give up, like Becky said, if you have been told no. But anyways, back to the bank statement.
Yes.
I told my best friend, I said, listen, I want you to do 6 months of just taking your tips and putting them into the bank. I don't care if you pull it right back out. It needs to hit the bank so that my lender, like clockwork,
right.
Every day when you get off, put your tips in. She did that. She was approved by herself for $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it works.
It works.
They just look at the last 6 statements, 12 statements, or 24 statements. There's 3 options. And add up the deposits and use that for your income.
There you go, guys. So you heard that. If you are someone out there that doesn't have a W-2, right, then there is a way for you to purchase a home, okay? And we are here to share that with you. And we want to see you get that goal taken care of this year of purchasing a home in 2025. So this show show is called the No Excuses Show. I always say, listen, when I was renting and when all of us were renting, right? You had to beg for your $2,500 deposit back. You told the kids, get the camera, walk through the house, take pictures of everything, put the video on, and make sure you get, as much, because they'll fight you tooth and nail to give you back that $2,500 deposit.
That's right.
Which nowadays ain't $2,500.
Well, no, it sure ain't. You're right. So here's the thing. When you purchase and you're ready to move on, you're walking away. In many cases, especially if you purchased a couple years ago, you're walking away with $200,000. It's going to hit, the wire is going to hit your account. Yes, you're not taking videos. You're not doing any of that. You've made money on your purchase. Is that right, Frank?
That's right. And plus, if you have a family, you have kids, you have security for them. So you have a place for them to play, come home, know they're going to be there.
Yeah. In fact, the best friend that I'm talking about, and Becky knows, she was on vacation for her birthday in Costa Rica. She had been a renter, a great renter, paid early, on time, because I get people to say that all the time. Oh, my landlord loves me. Well, that's great. He loves you, but I'm pretty sure he loves his money more. So if he's going to make enough on that property, you better get ready to get that 30-day.
Plenty of people.
You got 30 days to move.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. She had just told me, oh, no, I don't think I'm ready to buy just yet, Monique. I've been here for 5 years and I'm going to go for my birthday. She goes on her birthday. She calls me in tears. I just got an email from my landlord. I've got 30 days to move. What am I going to do? I said, you're going to buy that daggone house. That's what we're going to do. You're going to tell him you're going to give the first offer, right? And that was with something that we offer here with Frank, the bank statement program. So now let's think of something else. Here we go. I got another one.
What you got there, Mom? What you got?
Let's see. Now, Becky, we're not there yet, but we're getting close to the retiree age, right?
Yes, it's coming around the corner.
But are we going to want to stop investing since now we're on
Absolutely
a fixed
not.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Well, then what do you have for me, Becky? If here's a scenario. I'm retired. I make a good little chunk of change, right? But I'm not like when I was working, but I've got some money coming in. But I don't think that I can afford the house that I already own. Plus, turn around and invest in more properties, which I'd like to do because I want to be like what Monique said, travel the world, get some, $10,000, $20,000 extra coming in per month from all the investment properties. How can I invest if I'm already, stretched thin with the property that I own now and I'm on a fixed income? What could I do? What loan do you have for me?
This DSCR loan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, how does that
Frank,
work?
how does that? Yeah. Frank, you tell us. Explain it.
So basically, to make it simple, the DSCR loan looks at what the rental income will be on the property versus your house payment. So if your house payment, your mortgage, plus your taxes, insurance, and homeowners association total payment is $2,100, but the home will rent for $2,200 or even $2,100. It'll work. So you're qualified. There is no income of your own, so you don't have to whip out tax returns.
Bank statements, none of that.
Bank statements, none of that. Well, you need the bank statements for the down payment.
So you don't even have to whip out the tax returns.
Right. No tax returns, no W-2s, no pay stubs.
So let me just say that again. So basically, the property that you're wanting to buy as an investment property, that property, you buy it, your mortgage payment is $2,100, right? But you can turn around and rent it out for even $2,100. It's a wash.
Right.
You're able to. So in other words, as long as the mortgage is covered by the rent.
Correct.
You're able to purchase that and build an investment portfolio without having to provide any bank statements, without having to provide any tax returns. As a retiree, which, that's whom I love because most of my listeners, if you're not there, you're almost there, like me. So we got to think about how we can bring more funds into our home while we sleep.
Now, on a program like that, Frank, how much do you have to have down for a program like that?
That's a great question.
So you would need 20% down.
Okay. And they can pull that from IRA,
Correct.
401k.
Correct. As long as your
pension.
401k allows you to pull from it, then yes, you can pull from
So as
your
long as you have
401k.
your 20% down, then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about producing those tax returns. You don't have to produce.
What kind of credit score do you have to have?
The minimum credit score on that program is a 680.
Okay.
Most of us, when we're retired, we're just spoiling the grandbabies.
Yeah, I know. I already am.
That's right.
So, we can kind of focus on our credit when we're just spoiling the grandbabies.
Right.
So let's recap, you guys. And if you're just joining, this is Monique Buchanan on with my team member, Miss Becky, and my lending team member, Frank. We're going over some great programs that have rolled out for 2025, you guys. We talked about a down payment assistant program. You out there listening, if you want to continue living in Las Las Vegas and you don't want to get priced out, because remember, Las Vegas has 0 rent cap. We're not like California. We're not like Seattle or Washington State. There is 0 rent cap. Your landlord can go up as much as they please when your lease is up. Just keep that in mind. So if you want to remain here and lock your mortgage or your rent, but it's really mortgage, for 30 years, these down payment assistance programs before these prices shoot up as soon as these rates go down. Okay. So another thing, you can always buy down your rate. Better yet, our team can negotiate funds from the seller in all the cases this last year. I was going to say many cases, but
I think it's been almost every
single case this year. So I'm not just talking, right? We can take that money that we get from the seller, right, Becky? And Frank will buy down your rate.
Correct.
So don't be scared of the rate. It's a 5-minute conversation. 580 credit score. You need to be on any job for at least 2 years, right?
Correct.
2 years work history.
Correct.
There's no income limit, you guys. So if you're out there, you're making 100,000 plus, you're listening to this and you have not bought a home, come on, guys. We're giving you everything you need. It's happening every single day. You know what? And if you're thinking about looking for a rental, you might as well have a conversation, because you're going to jump through the exact same hoops. You have to provide your income for a rental. And today, because of COVID, most of them want a 640 credit score or higher.
That's right.
Or they're going to hit you with the extra deposit.
Right.
So now you're looking at putting down or losing about $5,000-$6,000 on an average house to rent.
Easy.
And where we're selling homes and our clients are walking away with $1,000 out of their pocket to buy. Make it make sense.
Correct.
And make it make sense. So once again, guys, Monique Buchanan here, 702-984-3700 is my phone number. You can text me if you don't feel like talking, dear. I'll shoot you over Frank's information and you can give him a call or he'll call you. Or, you can always go on my website, welcomehomewithmonique.com, on YouTube as well, Welcome Home with Monique Show. And also, you guys, listen, we're in this to help people. Of course, I feed my family this way, but honestly, I think that's why we work so well together.
Yes.
Our heart is in it. Yeah. We really, I love, do you love?
I love it.
Giving people keys that thought they couldn't buy a home. Bibiana and Joe.
I was going to say, you already know. You already know.
We've had so many clients over this year that were told absolutely not today and never will you own a home by lenders and banks.
Correct.
They didn't give up. They heard the show. They said, Monique, you know what? We heard your show. You sound like, you're really passionate about it. We're going to give you one more try. Is that too much to ask? Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Don't give up on yourself, right, Frank?
Right.
And especially my veterans.
Oh, yeah.
What do you have for my veterans? It hurts my heart when I hear that what they deserve and they worked for, they don't take. A lot of them don't even bother using it. I just can't believe it. What do you have for them?
No, first of all, I want to say thank you to our veterans.
Absolutely.
And, thanks for your service.
Absolutely.
That's probably the most rewarding part of my job is getting a veteran in a home for the first time even.
Yeah.
We have a program that it doesn't matter what your credit score is. We actually just look at your credit. So
I'm so sorry. Can you just say that one more time? Let them hear that.
Sorry about that.
Because I get a lot of veterans that think that they need this 700 credit score. They think that. They call me and I have to tell them no. And then we're giving them keys because the whole time they thought they needed stellar credit.
Yeah, well said. Actually, I have veterans that don't even realize they have the VA loan benefit. Correct.
So now, if my listeners want to find out if they have the benefit, would you help them?
Absolutely.
They could call you and you would help them.
Yes. The veterans I work with, I help them all the way through the process. And I even help them if they're a disabled veteran. I help them at the end to get their tax form filled out and get their property taxes reduced because they're a disabled veteran.
And let me just break that down, you guys. So when you're paying a mortgage, it's your principal and interest, right? It consists of 4 different things. Basically what you owe, the principal and interest, right? Then you have insurance, hazardous insurance, homeowners insurance. Then you have taxes. Thank you. I'm just going blank here. So you don't have to go running down at the end of the year and paying your taxes. Now, the 4th thing, it's basically making you insure your own loan. Think of it like gap insurance on a car. They're making you pay for your own gap insurance on your house because you didn't put 20% down, right? So here's the beautiful part. Because taxes is part of your mortgage payment, right? So let's say that your mortgage payment is $2,000, right? Taxes, maybe that's, $200 of that $2,000 a month,
correct,
right? So now as a veteran, a disabled veteran, you are able to have a much less payment
right
when you go through this form, through the assessor's office and fill out the paperwork.
Right.
What would that $2,000 payment go down to? What would you say roughly?
It depends on their disability, how much they're collecting.
Mm-hmm. If they're 90%, I know they get the most, right?
Correct, yeah.
So maybe like $150 less?
Yeah, it's like your car registry. registration, with your car registration, you if you're a disabled veteran, you get a discount.
Yeah.
Same thing with this. But you have to. It's not automatic. You have to fill out the form, and I help you do that.
So you walk them through that.
Correct.
And then their mortgage goes from $2,000, maybe it'll go down to like $1,850.
Correct.
And every bit counts.
Yeah.
So, and then another thing I want to talk to my people out there that have, and I get stuttered when I start saying this because it's sad. Fallen soldiers, spouses. A lot of them don't realize that they can still use the benefits that their loved one has left behind.
Right.
Right. So we've helped quite a few wives that did not know that they could still use their husband or wife's benefits to purchase their family's homes or themselves a home. So that's something that you'll also help them with as well.
Absolutely.
So zero down, obviously, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So
zero down, just so you know, zero down means they'll cover 100% of your loan. And the closing costs, there are closing costs involved.
The last 6 months at least, every one of my veterans have come out of their pocket less than $1,000, or they got money back. Because it's almost like zero down and zero closing costs, pretty much, because of the market we're in right now.
Correct.
It will change at the drop of a dime.
I have a client right now that the builder is giving them the closing costs.
That's right.
A certain number, and that's more than the closing costs they need. So they're getting not only their earnest money back, and earnest money, just so you know, is what you put down to secure the home while you're going through the financing.
It's like a deposit, just like a deposit on a rental.
Yeah, exactly. It's just what it is, earnest
Right.
money, showing your earnest. But anyway, so they're getting their earnest money back and some, but they're not allowed to get that cash. So what we did is we took that and some and made it a Lowe's gift card so they can get appliances for their home. That's only allowed on VA.
So do you guys hear that? So not only will you, in many cases, especially with the builders, as long as you let us walk you in and register you, and we fight for you to get these benefits. A lot of builders are offering, a lot of incentives. Make sure, but they'll tell you themselves. Make sure you bring your realtor with you. So, hey, we're never too busy to meet you on down there, walk you and register you. Then you can come on back as many times as you want. But yes, you can walk away as a veteran with a brand spanking new home, okay? Furniture money and nothing out of your pocket. Is that going to be forever? No. Could that change next week? Yes, it could. And that is why we are making it a point to get in your ear right now. And if this is not for you, it's for somebody you know. They can go on YouTube, Welcome Home with Monique Show, and it will be uploaded there. I mean, they can go on any podcast platform as well. And there you go. Welcome Home with Monique Show. Or they can call 702-984-3700. And we will get them with Frank. It's a 5-minute conversation. Find out if they have their benefits. If they don't, great. He'll, let them know. Guess what? Even though you don't have your benefits, we have a zero down program for you. All right? So even if you're not a veteran or you don't have the benefits, don't worry about it. We still will get your down payment paid for you.
This is why it's always important of who it is that you work with. Who you work with is always important.
And the resources that they have. So even my people that are not vets, you're going to have veteran treatment right now. You only need a 580 credit score. We have 100% financing through a down payment assistance. And if you didn't know, the movie theaters will be breaking ground here in Vegas. So for all of the people out there thinking that there's some mysterious crash coming, I have no idea why they think this, because it's completely different than when the crash, and Frank, you went through the crash.
I've been through the crash. Yes.
Well, let me ask you something. When you went through the crash, was people sitting on $200,000 worth of equity or more because they bought their homes at 3% and 4%?
Right.
Why would you ever lose a home if you have that much money in your home? That's why we have such little income. Yeah,
correct.
We have hardly any houses for sale out there because everybody's sitting on a gold mine. They got low mortgage payments, right? Great interest rates.
Yep.
Right.
That's
guys,
why we have the shortage.
Where is this crash coming from when they're sitting on gold mines?
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
And that's the difference now than back then is people didn't have any skin in the game in their home. And so people
and that's why they lost them,
walking
unfortunately.
and
You're not walking away when you have that skin in the game. You're not walking away from your house.
No. Why would I walk away from my house and I'm sitting on $250,000 in equity?
Right.
I would just sell it.
Plus, if you held your home back then, it would be worth more than it was in 2005.
And it's sad what happened to those people. My dad was one of them. Predatory lending back then, but that's why they're so strict now, right, Frank?
Correct. Yeah,
the
that's
rules
all been
have completely
corrected.
changed.
Right.
So now, if you are approved today, you're approved for real. Okay.
Right.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So listen, we are doing this over and over again. I'm really going to focus on this this year, especially again, because like I tell my family and friends, I love you guys. I don't want to see you get priced out the market. I've already watched a couple friends, unfortunately, that didn't listen 4 years ago. They are now priced out the market. They can't afford to buy because they just, they just can't afford it. They're working where they only make $20,000, $30,000 a year. And now, unless they have their spouse work, they're not going to be able to afford the mortgage. So they wish they would have bought back then and their mortgages would have been $1,200. Well, that's not the case now. Homes are average price is about $490 right now.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So, but that payment's looking at about, we have programs. We have the 3 to 2-1 buy down where I like to explain it like this. When we get those costs, those funds from the seller, let's pretend that he gives you $10,000. Your normal mortgage payment would be let's say $3,000. But as you live in that house, we're going to pool from that $10,000 towards your mortgage for the first 3 years. First year, we're going to pull $500. So now your mortgage is only $1,500. Now, we're waiting for the refinance because we know that the rates are going to drop. As soon as they drop, you go ahead and refinance your house. Let's say that you make it all the way to year 3 and nothing happens. Well, guess what? Your payment's just going to be what it was from day 1, right? For 30 years fixed. No up and down and all around.
No, so you're prepared for it.
And you know
what's coming.
Worst case scenario is you pay $3,000, right? But let's say that, because obviously I don't think it's going to take 3 years for them to drop the rates. But let's say that year 2, they drop the rates, right? Okay, great. You just had a cheaper mortgage payment for 2 years. And then you look up in the cloud, you still got $7,000 left up there that you didn't use. That's going to go towards your principal. You don't lose the money. So it's a win-win. Guys, I'm on that program. I am using that program. And pretty much 90% of the people I sold homes to this year took advantage of that program. We have the answer for you if you'll spend 5 minutes with us in a conversation. There's no obligation. I'm not into high sales, pressuring people. That's why we got into real estate.
Yeah, we don't
figured
like
by the time you call me, heck, you want a house. I'm not one of those people that's going to blow you up, knock on your door. And I'm not knocking my colleagues. I love their hustle. They have a passion, right? But that's not how we do business over here. We're here to educate you, give you all your options, and then let you make your decision.
Pathways. We have multiple pathways. Everybody's path is different.
Correct.
If you want more information or you want to talk to Frank or you want one of us to meet you over at those brand new homes so we can make sure you get those incentives and get you going and make sure you're taken care of. You get no extra discount for walking in without a realtor. They will tell you that themselves, but you will lose representation. New homes, I know it's fun. I always tell my clients, go in there and say your name is Tina Turner and Ike. And then if you want to call me, 702-984-3700. Listen, I love you guys. Thank you so much, Frank, for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I appreciate your passion, brother.
Thank you.
And then, Becky, like always, honey, thank you for supporting us as a team.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's get out there and I love you too. And let's get these folks into some homes.
Let's do it.
And all my past clients, I appreciate your support. We appreciate all your referrals. And all my KUMV listeners, the same right at you. I hope your year's off to a good start. And let's not forget to keep those folks over there in California in our prayers. Yes. And by the way, since I said that, my team, we are opening up to help people for rentals only because of that. I know there's a lot of people coming in that are looking for rental properties because they can't find anything in California. 702-984-3700. We will help you. 702-984-3700. Love you guys. And until we hear from you, this is Monique Buchanan.